So don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting you to plagiarize anybody's work, but creativity cannot start from a blank paper. So today I'm trying to teach you a few tricks that you can start somewhere. Welcome back to PhD Coffee Time. This is the online community for you as PhD students to get motivation, peer support, and practical tips during your PhD. Today, I want to do a little bit more technical overview on how you write a paper, because for most of us, actually over 50% of scientists are non-native English users. So if you are starting to write your thesis and starting with your first paper, I hope this oversimplified view of how to write is going to help you get started. And if you're a really advanced writer, please don't cringe, because I think we all need to start from somewhere. So today is my baby step version of how someone could write like your favorite author. Don't you think sometimes you wonder where this beautiful writing is coming from when you're reading your favorite author's work? Today's video, I hope to help you understand how to write more like the person you admire in scientific writing. So let's get started. You know how in the past the spy are trying to get the secret of another country? They get the weapon and they open the weapon to reverse engineer what is there. Disclaimer, I am not a spy, but I wanted to share the concept of reverse engineering and how this can apply to writing. I hope you can do this exercise with me. So first of all, pick one paper that you respect the most, that is the most relevant to your research and you've been admiring and is so relevant to you that you need to read it over and over again. That's the paper we try to work on today. So today's example is a shout out to my science hero, Dr. Kathleen Carrico. This is the scientist who might have saved my life and many of your lives. Her work has triggered a new school of thought and has transformed the way we deal with infectious disease. In the past, we always need to capture the virus, inactivate it, and then make a vaccine. Right now, with her discovery, you can just program your vaccine and editing it from mRNA sequence to a vaccine. And in my heart, she has already won the Nobel Prize. Now back to the writing. Like any scientific article, there is a list of figures. First, take note of whether you agree with the order of these figures, how they are presented. Do you see something you can learn how the panels of information is presented? You can first make a draft using published work like this one. And of course, you are allowed to innovate and make it easier to understand by your reader. But the point is, you don't need to start from an empty page. I've already made a video about how to prepare a scientific figure using Inkscape. So I hope you can check it out because I gave some tips about how to make sure your dimension of the figures is compliant to what you are submitting as a journal article. If you have a similar set of data with different technique that is used, like this is classical biochemistry set of data, maybe you can follow the same logic flow and you can ask your PI for advice. Maybe you have to change in a certain minor way. Most of the time you're presenting data in the order of a logic, and sometimes if you have a relevant paper, you don't have to invent it all by yourself. So sometimes by reversing your thoughts into what are the evidence that is presented in that paper could help you design your research idea. Take that paper, take out all of these figures and think about the scientific story that is constructed behind all of these figures. Can you put them back to PowerPoint slides? And does it resemble your flow of logic in your project? For example, did you need an analysis of protein, or did you need a Western block figure, or did you need something that tells the morphology on the SEM? An extra point, this is not about writing, but when you're reading paper like this and you observe that you don't have that technology, you don't have that machine in your lab, guess what? You can write this down and make this as a new proposal of collaboration or writing grant ideas so that you can gain access to this new instrument. Now, speaking about the scientific logic behind, remember every paragraph can be broken down into bullet points of PowerPoint. You can break it down into outlines of thought. Basically, if they're a good writer, the first sentence will be the key concept. Moving on, the second paragraph will be the next concept, etc. You can reverse engineer the flow of logic by highlighting only the topic sentences and come up with what are these PowerPoint slides if you were in the seminar room presented by this author. Back to the flow of logic. When you are understanding each paragraph, topic sentences, highlighting the flow of logic, you're doing yourself a service to go through how would it look like in a seminar room if you were to attend this article author giving a seminar in a room. You can ask yourself this question. Are these ideas the same way you would have introduced it? Or if you have something else to add, or if there is so-called a plot twist, like in a movie, you have a change of perspective, you can then introduce your own perspective by merging your idea to the original flow of this logic. In this way, your article looks innovative, like what you have presented, but you are also making it familiar for most of your reviewer because chances are your favorite author is your reviewer. So from reading the first topic sentence, putting them back into like each as a one PowerPoint slide, you can visualize how the concept is developed. Lastly, you need to look at the subject of each sentence. A good writer will try to put subject that is more important meaningfully to start. So for example, a sentence like Barack Obama's car is being stolen. What's important is Barack Obama's car, but there is a person who come and stole Barack Obama's car would be a poor sentence because nobody knows who is that person, and why would you put that unimportant subject to be starting first in the sentence, right? So I think Barack Obama's car is a very daily life example, but the same thing is when you're writing a sentence scientifically, be more thoughtful, even the sentence has the same meaning. If you start the sentence with RNA, DNA in the beginning of a sentence, then you're making yourself crystal clear that this is about this molecule that nobody has explored before with immune system. So a sentence starting with immune system might make your audience get lost easily because they may not realize this is about RNA. One exercise that's very helpful is to go back to the reference list and try to download all of these references and link them into your Zotero app. And if you are new to Zotero, I have a video that you should check out and learn how to make the best use of this citation software. If you only have one application in your PhD, Zotero will be it. After you have all these references, try to go back paragraph by paragraph. Think about what are these take-home messages that this author has come up with from reading this paper. Ask yourself this question. Did you agree with what that person's perspective was? Or did you have something else to add? Because guess what? If you have something else to add, you can cite the same paper and you can expand that sentence, and that will be your own sentence. To sum up, I hope by the end of this video, you are now looking at your favorite paper in a slightly different way and maybe with a little more tools for you to learn how you could write more like your favorite author. Now, after having watched this video, how do you feel about your writing exercise? Please comment below because I want to see how it has worked for your case. And do you have tips on how to reverse engineer a research article? As we're all learning in the process, feel free to comment because this may help another PhD student. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you the next time.